Namaste. Welcome to our channel, Shubh Temple. In today's video, we will be discussing how to protect your energy, how to prevent yourself from entering into a full-blown toxic relationship. Now, before we get started, I want to invite you, please subscribe to our channel and also click the notification bell to be alerted when we post the next video. Those of you that have already subscribed and you've been following our work, you already know we have created a series, a playlist on toxic relationships. And I've already created videos on recognizing a toxic relationship, how to work with a toxic partner, recognizing and working with a family dynamic, how to become aware that there is some type of issue within the family dynamic and how to keep your personal power in that situation. And also created videos on how our experience through toxic relationship can actually be a wonderful catalyst for personal growth. Okay? And so today I want to explore with you how we can protect our energy, how we can keep ourselves from allowing a relationship to turn toxic to begin with. So let's just take a moment and really define first how to recognize, how to know when we've entered into a toxic relationship. So I think the first clue that you're in a toxic relationship is if you find that there's a lot of arguing going on, a general disrespect, criticism, blame, accusations, control, manipulation tactics. Now, I know that right now it's very popular to talk about narcissists and gaslighting and these other spiritual bypassing, these type of things. But instead of labeling it per se, I think it's more effective to describe the behavior to begin with. And one of these things is gaslighting. It's become very, very popular to talk about. And usually when we hear this term gaslighting, it's from the victim perspective. And I just want to make you aware that oftentimes I observe this behavior in people that normally would have a good relationship otherwise. Like it's common banter. Oh, you said this. No, I didn't say that. It's very common to misunderstand or not even remember. Mostly, usually if we have to play back or remember word for word what someone said, it's very easy to get lost, and we always take our personal perspective with it. So I think that one very helpful tool when you are feeling like you're coming into a situation where someone is gaslighting you, meaning accusing you that your scenario is not right or how you remember things is not right, is just telling that person exactly how you remember it, but also giving them the freedom that they can remember what happened. However, they're going to have their own perspective. Sometimes we don't remember exact words, but we tend to take where we personally are. We don't remember exactly what the person said, but how it made us feel. So when I say that a person is accusing you of something, it's often rooted maybe in their mind, they really do believe what they're saying. It's not that they're intentionally trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or they're trying to control you or manipulate you, but they could be totally unconscious. They could be going back into some type of unresolved traumas themselves, and what is happening is there is a dynamic that's being created. And so the thing is when you're in this situation, it's really important to be aware of what's happening, okay? And the best way to do that is put a little space there. And the temptation, as I've said in many of my other videos, the temptation is to react, because after all, we are all human beings and we all have our limitations. So the temptation is just to react to what is happening, what they're saying, and taking it as face value. But I think the real power is putting space there. And when we are able, when we are conscious enough, when we are aware enough of just to be able to put the space there and really just check in and ask ourselves, what is happening? What is happening? And just be silent and wait for the answer to come. Because most of the time, nothing ever even needs to be said. And sometimes just your silence gives space for your partner or whoever, your family member. Just putting the space there gives them also a chance to become aware of what is actually happening here also. And by you not allowing yourself to be baited into any type of drama is a very powerful place. So what are the tools? How can we keep ourselves from being baited into any type of conflict? Whether it's manipulation, whether it's control, blame. And I'll tell you, the secret to that is knowing yourself. And I know that to say that knowing yourself is the key, that is very, very cliche. And we've all heard this growing up. It sounds very philosophical, but it sounds actually oversimplified. But there is a very practical way of practicing this in your life. And by knowing yourself, you are very powerful, because when you truly know who you are, you know your own personal freedom, you know how to speak your truth in love. And the reason that you know all of these things is because you realize that your inherent worth is outside of what is happening in this conversation and in this dynamic. When you are really in that place of knowing yourself, then you are comfortable just being, and you are comfortable just allowing how that person is going to show up, and you feel totally peaceful within yourself. And I know that you guys are watching this. I hope that I can grab your attention to the end, because as we explore this further, I'm going to add this in layers of how you can really practice this in your daily life, because it's all about presence. It's all about realizing and loving and becoming aware. You become aware of your real value through your relationships. Now, I say this a lot, but I feel like it needs to be said very often, because we as humans, we get very forgetful. But Every relationship is a reflection of the relationship that we have with ourselves. And even the best of us in our relationships, there are times that we forget who we are, and we feel the need to explain something. We feel the need to convince someone that we are right, maybe, or they are wrong. We feel like we need to fix the other person, and we're totally unconscious when we say, and it's totally coming from our own ego. Many times we say, it's very easy to say theoretically, oh yes, I know myself, I love myself. If this situation were to arise, I would never tolerate it. I would never tolerate it, and as a matter of fact, I would just run from the situation. But in everyday practice, that's usually not what happens. When we're actually faced with these situations, most of the time we're going to choose something very, very different. And the reason being is because when we're actually in this situation, we realize we're very attached to this relationship. We're very attached to how the other person is perceiving us. In the actual moment, maybe we're aware, or we're giving that person space to realize that maybe they genuinely don't remember what I said, and I need to re-clarify what was actually said. I think that the issue is when we begin to doubt. When we begin to doubt, actually, well, was that really what I said? So the thing is that there really never needs to be a back and forth about what was said. It gets back to the point of the value of knowing yourself. Because when you know yourself, you know your inherent value, you're clear about who you are, you're clear about what you're creating in your life, then you won't put yourself, or you won't allow yourself to relate with people in ways that are not who you are. Because, in our core, in our essence, we are peaceful, we are joyful, we are loving, we are compassionate. So the thing is that when we're encountering an energy that we feel is not those things, we can rest in the awareness of who we are, and we can still engage that energy with the same peace, with the same compassion. We don't have to argue. We can simply state what our truth is, and we can state that in love. There never needs to be any confrontation. There never needs to be any argument. And I know as I'm saying this, it is something that is very, very simple, but yet the key, and this is the part that we're getting to the real juice, the real meat of this conversation today. It's not just knowing yourself in that essence, because, throughout the course of your life, you are going to be evolving, you are going to be growing, you are going to be creating many different things as you become more expanded in your awareness, in your consciousness. You are going to want to show up in different ways in your life. You're going to want to manifest different things in your life. So the real key is not only knowing yourself, but knowing who you are in that moment. That is the real power there, is knowing who you are in that moment. And what does that look like? Knowing who you are, well, first off, you love yourself, you value yourself, you believe in yourself, you have faith in yourself, you realize that everything that you need, you already are fully equipped for. Okay? So when you are connected with that essence, it's a really wonderful, grounding, foundational place to be. And then the icing on the cake, beyond knowing that, is when you are fully present before another person and you're aware of all of that and you feel the total freedom. You are totally free to be who you are, and because of that, you are also giving them total freedom to be who they are. And in that space, there's no push and pull, there's no tension, there's no argument. And in that space, you can just freely tell them who you are, what you want to create. And they can hear that. You're not responsible. They're going to process that according to where they are in that moment. Energetically, they may be in a totally different space than you are. But the key is knowing who you are. Love always gives freedom. So there's no control issue. There's always harmony in that space. There's always freedom in that space. And in that space, you can freely communicate who you are. You can also do what you need to do. If they are speaking something that is not in resonance, you are always free in that moment. You can speak what you need. And if you feel like that space is not a safe space, then you are free. And it's not only are you free, but it's also our responsibility that we have to create that space. We have to create a boundary. And sometimes I think we talk about boundaries in a way that are putting up a wall so people cannot come in. But I like to think about a boundary in a different term, and how I think of a boundary is more of a protective energy, and it's not about not allowing them to come in. It's about protecting our own inner peace. It is about knowing what we are wanting in that moment, who we are in that moment. It is protecting that energy by us standing firmly in that space, being totally aware of who we are, keeping that energy, that if that person wants to come into that space with you, then it has to feel good. You know, this is the thing, is that a good relationship, it's meant to feel good. It should feel good. You know, there's no point in being in a relationship, and it's not going to be productive if you're not feeling good in that moment. So this is the importance of knowing where the boundary needs to be for you to feel safe. And also knowing, okay, asking myself, okay, what is happening in this moment? And what do I need to do to protect my energy? Okay? And it's totally independent of what they might need or what they might want. Don't lose yourself in that space. Okay? You can keep a harmonious relationship, and yet you can also take your space. If you feel like someone is threatening you, if someone is criticizing you, you don't need to respond. You just need to be aware. How am I feeling in this moment? And is this me? Is this what this person is saying about me really? Is that the truth? Is that the truth of who I am? And you'll get your answer. And then you just need to ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do for myself in this moment? What is the most loving thing that I can do in this moment? And that is your answer. And many of us, we're going to ask these questions when we're in this space. And it's not the action that you choose to do itself, because we can all be in a similar dynamic, a similar conversation, and we might all choose to do something different. So it's not the action that we choose per se that's the right one, the right action. It is it in resonance with who we are? Is it the right course of action for me to do in this space? And when you are in that place, then you are in alignment. You are in alignment. And that is a very powerful position for you to be in. And you are preserving your energy. You are respecting who you are. Because if we want everyone else in our life to respect and value us, it has to begin with ourselves. We have to take our own space. We have to make ourselves a priority. We have to pay attention to our own inner guidance. That is the key. Pay attention to your own inner guidance in that moment. And that is what it means to know who you are, to know yourself in that moment. And that is truly powerful. So, I welcome your comments. I would love to know your thoughts on this. If you have anything that you want to share, if this has inspired another topic that you would like me to talk about next time, either on the same concept of toxicity and relationships, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know. I would love to know your thoughts on this. And I'll remind you, once again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell to be alerted when we post the next video. Namaste.